Hey everyone, this is the Shoot Game Weekly, episode number 66. And this week's episode of the Indie Month is going to be featuring Shoot1UP from Mommy's Best Games, released in 2010 on the Xbox Live Indie Games, and then on August 22nd of 2012 for Windows Phone 7. And this week, like the other weeks, we're talking with the creator of the game. We're talking with Nathan Fouts from Mommy's Best Games, and we're going to be talking all about it. So, hey, Nathan.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey.
Yeah, great. Really glad to have you on the show.
Thanks. This is cool. I love talking about shoot 'em ups.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
what it's all about.
Yeah. I tell you, I'm a little intimidated to talk too much on the shmups forums proper because I'm not great at shoot 'em ups. So, you know what I mean? Like,
I see.
I still talk on there. I usually hang out in the off topic just because I just like the crowd. You know, they're cool, but it's also a little intimidating sometimes. So I do try to contribute. Somebody always is like ahead of me, which is fine. Like they're always like on top of the news or anything, which makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
that's why we kind of have the show here, so it creates like a more comfortable environment so people can like watch at their leisure. You know, if they have questions, they can come in the chat. And I can understand that shmups attract a specific type of personality type. So,
and that personality kind of plays out in your game too, because of the whole collecting the one-ups for more ships. And you say intentionally that it is easier shmup, and you could probably elaborate on that. But you know, as for quote-unquote casual gamers,
yeah, I mean that was the genesis for the idea was to make a game that was a bridge from casual to hardcore, but it wasn't completely vanilla and just just generic. You know what I mean? Like a normal kind of bridge to casual is, oh, how about there's a tenth of the enemies and a tenth of the ships, and it's boring. You know, and it's boring, and so people have called the game a cluster F, which I totally understand, like in terms of balance, because there's so many ships and it's hard to understand what's happening, and you can't like give a lot of precision play to it, which is fine with me. I mean, I think I'm good at the game. You can get good at it, but it's not a typical game where you have one little tiny ship. Obviously, you got a bunch of ships, so I understand that, but I made it with the inspiration to like get more people into it, and I honestly, just from the people I've heard from, I know it's working. There's a lot of people that were not into shoot 'em ups that I've talked to at conventions, and they were totally into it. So that's it's working from that standpoint.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad as a creator you kind of think of that mind like what's been done in the past, and then how can I appeal to a present day audience? You know, because usually the revered games are they're about at least 5 years old. 10 years old. So thank you for that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like so another aesthetic inspiration for the game and gameplay inspiration was Space Megaforce, Super LS, Super LS. So like I love the first level of that game. I play it a lot. I just replay it. You know what I mean? Because it's super happy, and you just kind of, and there's all kinds of little secrets, and it's not super intense. It's just I mean, and by the end of it, you're really powerful, and it feels great. So I don't know. I like it. I like to chill out to that game. I just kind of like to spend a little time playing. And
I often hear people when they talk about playing shooting games to relax. You know, they like one where they can have a beer or a couple beers, and it's not gonna ruin the run.
No,
as to say.
or it becomes like a ritual, like you have your ritual where you play through it, and like a certain levels, and then you're familiar with it, right? So.
Yeah. No, I like that too. I definitely like, because most of the times I enjoy the environment of a shmup, but and I'll even take like a cave game and just tune it down on the difficulty setting just to chill out in it, because they're so pretty, and you know what I mean. It's just fun to shoot things and feel powerful in the game, but I don't always need to be, you know, on the edge of my seat, almost about to scream, trying to, you know, hang on. So
That's true. That's very true.
Gotcha.
yeah.
Great to hear that perspective.
Yeah, and I think that's a very needed perspective, especially in this kind of niche genre that we've been devoted to. You know, not everyone is as inducted into it, and I'd love to see that's why we started STG Weekly, to draw in more people.
Cool.
And I'm glad that this is going, and this is what we're doing because there should be something for everyone, right?
Definitely, and I don't think the shmups genre is in any danger of being lost to casual.
Mm-hmm.
I think most devs want to make super hardcore games, and that fits perfectly in the shmups. So I don't think any shmups fans should feel threatened by a couple casual shmups. You know what I mean? Just there's going to be plenty of room. You know, most devs are going to go.
Good point.
Yeah, I totally think, because we're in it for the long haul, right? So maybe we can start talking about your game, maybe your mindset back in 2010 when you started creating this game, or like hey, I wanted to make a shmup. Like we talked about that about Mushe Aleste.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about kind of the main features of the game so that we have a premise of kind of what to go off of?
Yeah. So mechanically, there's a small hitbox on there. I put this below middle in terms of a bullet hell, like in terms of the bullet count of the enemy ships. But like if you're watching the video, you can see a ton of bullets from you. So it was almost like a flip of bullet hell, so that, you know, the main player, I know like Bakugan and that kind of thing have a huge count of bullets from the players too, but it's not super difficult. But what happens is you got a little tiny ship, and you start the game with 3 playable ships, and they move together. And
so you're like commanding like a small fleet.
Yeah, like a
like
phalanx.
a squad. Oh,
Yeah,
phalanx.
squad. Yeah. So you command 3 ships, and then the first what happens is every time you shoot a certain number of enemy ships, a 1-up will come out, and if you capture it, it turns into a 4th playable ship that instantly joins your fleet. And then if you get a 5th power up, it joins also, and at 5 ships, your bullets change, so you upgrade actually. So every 5 ships, you start upgrading attack. So that's why, like, some of your bullets are going to shoot to the right, some are going to shoot to the left, some are going to shoot back. At 5, 10, 15, 20, and I think maybe 25 ships, you're shooting diagonally, so you're like pretty unstoppable at that point. I think it caps at 30 ships.
I see.
Sweet.
Kind of goes back to maybe that Galaga mechanic where you're building a ship, especially like Galaga 88, you can get up to 3 ships combined.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's nice because it's like, it's one of the shmups. You made one or another one where they actually explain the ship count, you know, in the game. I always like when they have that little cohesiveness there.
Exactly, yeah.
It's funny.
And, and we actually beat Galaga Legions out. I mean, we had ours, you know, this was before that. So as far as I know, we were, you know, the first game with a huge number of playable ships. The idea came from a game jam I entered a lot, like in, it was at the end of 2009. The game jam was about numbers. And, you know, I love shoot 'em ups, and I was like, oh, what if we do something weird where something happens every X number of enemy ships you kill? And that was kind of the start of it. And I was like, well, what if a power-up comes out after every 5 ships that you kill? And then the power-up was just like an enemy ship, because I was like just debugging stuff, and I was like, or a player ship. So once that started happening, I was like, oh crap, this is great. This is crazy. So I had this little tiny scrolling looping level with no bosses and 1 enemy ship, but you know, you could get like 50 player ships, and it was crazy. So that's when, you know, I was like, oh, this went over really well, so I wanted to try to expand it. And the crazy like environments and stuff was again like from the Space Megaforce, of just feeling like you're traveling over very strange lands. You know what I mean? Like really weird. I didn't want it to be too sensible, like a cave game where it's like you start in the base and you left your base and now you're in the waterfalls and the waterfalls connected to the mountains. That's great. I mean,
Maybe
that
more like
sense.
a Gradius feel
Yeah, yeah.
compared to that.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm looking right
Yeah.
now at the video that's looping. Yeah, you have these kind of like neurons or like blood vessels that you're kind of going
Yeah.
over, like almost R-type too as well.
Right,
Like
right.
the
This
fi-
is supposed. So there is a completely insane story that you're like planet hopping,
Okay.
and all the planets have been taken over by the same force, and they're like getting terraformed in different ways. And so this one was an ocean planet, and there was like native life forms of these jellyfish, but those neurons are the bad guys, and they've like started putting their little bases down. So
Oh.
yeah, and so the beginning of every level has a crazy star name, based on actual stars that people discovered that we named, and that's like into that kind of solar system trying to help defend humanity.
Oh, okay. So it goes back to this kind of like fantastic journey,
Mhm,
like an X-Mo,
definitely.
like you're that small ship, kind of like in your antibody, like
Yeah.
fighter. You know what I also did like about this game? Like the bosses, they fill up the screen instead of you're just
Yeah.
like at the bottom and then you're tapping left and right. You're actually doing a lot of circular movement all across the screen, which is
Yeah.
really interesting too as well. Can you speak more to that, like how you did your boss design?
Well, right. So I tried to get them so that each boss would, like you said, encourage a different kind of motion from the player. So it's like the third boss. The third boss is probably the craziest because he's like that big train centipede thing, that the Trundle Fisher. So he travels all around the screen. So he pushes you all over the place. And then the one we just saw, the Medusa Gigante, he's a good one too because those tentacles can come in from the sides and curl all the way around you almost. So you really have to like kind of pay attention and remember how that thing started curling as he was leaving the screen. So yeah, each boss has got a little theme about how they're going to kind of move around. This one up here, Mecha Lilith, in the lady level, how she fires off her boobs. So so those are giant, and they do the typical rush, but they go like all the way out instead of like stopping. So they're a little, I wouldn't call them cheap because they don't fill the screen.
Okay.
You just got to keep an eye out for them. You know what I mean? And like
You
stay in
gotta
the middle.
keep an eye on the chest.
Keep an eye on the chest.
Like this is probably the only game where you're supposed to stare at some lady's chest, right?
Yeah. Right.
Well, did
I know it
you
probably
get
has a little.
inspiration from that, from like Transor Z or Manzinger Z, that the protagonist, like one of the protagonists has like a robot that shoots out boob missiles?
No, this one was just like, okay, let's do something with chicks because I dig chicks, man. So my wife loves it.
Oh, that's
no,
great. I'm glad you passed it by your wife, just like, all right, what's going
This is not Gull Shell. That's like super gross, and I love that game and everything, and it's cool, but I didn't want to make it that gross. So
I see.
it's just kind of freaky anime stuff, and I just thought, hey, boob missiles, So the nipples shoot lasers and stuff. So yeah, we caught as much flack for this as you'd expect.
It's the good and the bad, right?
Yeah, I love it, and like they're all. Hopefully, it's not like some sort of weird violence against women thing. It's just they're supposed to be robots, and I don't know. I just thought it was fun. You know what I mean? They're like android women. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Pinbot, or maybe like Devil's Crush.
Yeah, exactly. Devil's Crush, definitely. So I don't know, but we didn't just stay with the women thing the whole time. So now, Coffle Female is the last level, and it's got like the fossil theme going on, and it's supposed to be threatening. And it's the only level that has these giant moving structures that will crush you. So as you shoot them, that's what causes them to move.
Well, the sprite for those is crazy.
Yeah, it's
that animation.
I like that churning disc.
Is it a dude like driving a bone car, or what's going on there?
It's sort of like a crazy crab monster combined with a boat that's got like a ship's wheel inside it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It almost reminds me of something you'd see from the Gunbird games.
Yeah.
Because of those really intricate like animations of the enemies.
Exactly. I only spent 3 months on this game, and I wish I'd spent longer. And if I ever do a sequel, I'll do a better job. But that's the more complicated animations in the game. So, yeah, I was proud of that.
It's really neat that usually Horis are known for environment that you can crash into. And it's nice to see that you put it in this like in a vertical orientation, and it works. It like has a different pace.
Yeah, and that's what I figured was like. If I can do it, I like to change the last level of the game a little bit to give you like a surprise. Oh gosh, challenge. And so that was my thought, was like you said, verticals, verts usually don't have any collision. And I thought, okay, well, if we're not crazy about it, and like we give you control over how it works, in terms of if you don't shoot them, they won't come after you, as much. Hopefully, it won't be too awful. So I like it, and you get huge point drops from those. So those are kind of fun to go for. But here's the penultimate boss. You think it's the last boss, not the final form. We had to do. I put this in, and so the guy that Dean Dodrill, the guy that made Dust, Elysian Tale. So he loves shoot 'em ups too, and someday you guys should totally threaten him. He wants to make a shoot 'em up. And,
we'd love to see that. Dust is amazing.
He does amazing art. Yeah. So he says, Nathan, you've got to put in an extra form. So this is the Prosoma Constrictica. Like it comes back after, and it's like super mean now. And he's like, you got to have a real form. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. He definitely pushed me. He was cool. He's like,
that is really
he loved
cool.
the game.
How'd you meet him? Did you just talk? Do you know him and like met him in person, or was this online, or what?
Well, I've since met him in person at conventions, and we chat like that. And he was he had put Dust onto the XBL IG forums, the developer forums. So he was working on it there, and so I just downloaded the game and gave him a bunch of feedback, and he loved it. He loved the feedback, and so we just started talking that way. And because I was on there, he had played Weapon of Choice, so that was our first game. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I love Weapon of Choice," and I said, "Oh my gosh, but your game's even prettier." And so he was like saying that I was better than him, and I was like, "No, dude, your game looks amazing. It's like so pretty." He's like, "But I love Weapon of Choice." I was like, "Okay." So we started just hanging out and talking on there, and then when I put up Shoot1UP, he played it a bunch and was always helping me play test it, and that he was like, you got to put in the final boss, and then what was the other thing? Oh, he said you got to dress up the intro. Like there's a little tiny story intro to the game, but not much. Even before, I only had like one screen. He's like, "I'll dress it up a little more," and I was like, "Okay." So he was great.
I love that you guys are kind of like giving, or he's like giving you, a little challenge, like mini challenges or things to maybe put in. Whereas, like, would you ever see that back in the day, like a Taito employee telling someone from, Capcom, do this. But like, I just love to compare that, because we do have an interview coming from the 80s later on, just kind of connecting the past to the present here.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the guy that made oh, my mind is blank. It was a side scroller on XBLIG that it came out a while ago, maybe 2009 or so, and it was very British, and I can't remember the name it was, but it was almost like an adventure game. And that guy was really Binary Tweed was a developer, and I'll have to dig it up. But he was really really great, and I just gave him a bunch of. Oh, it was called Clover: A Curious Tale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the game was very strange, and I liked it, and it had such a British feel, kind of like, you know what I mean, like kind of like those old egg games.
Yep.
Can't remember those either, but
you mean like Psygnosis games, or
no, the British feel for that game, this adventure game. I'm sorry, I won't go on and on that.
Okay,
but
no, that's
the
fine.
British feel for that adventure game was just odd. It was just different. Like it didn't, you know what I mean, follow the same kind of path of like that you'd expect of fighting things or anything like that. It was kind of conversation based and kind of quest based, and I just took to it. You know what I mean? And so he actually helped too, like give me a bunch of feedback on different games as we went. And so I like that a lot, to like make friends with other developers and, push each other, like you were saying, kind of like one sword sharpens the other.
It's just a new thing to have, all these developers being able to communicate. It's different, It's definitely something to consider when it actually is making an effect on these games, as we heard from your story. It's really interesting. I like it, and it's like, will this be a trend even when you have like a publisher or anything like that? Like, I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, we had we've had different games of ours be published. So we've got a game on XBLA, Serious Sam Double D XXL. So that was published by Devolver Digital and Mastertronic, and so it's on the arcade section, not the indie section.
Right.
And that's like a run and gun, 2D, side scroller, and kind of like Contra, but you've got the gun stacker, which should be right up the alley of a lot of shmup fans. And we had different other developers, friends that I would have play it, and they would give me feedback. Like the guy that made a Scapegoat. I don't know if you know that game. It's a platformer. It's like a puzzle platformer. It's really good. But I would have him play Serious Sam when we were still working on it, and he was helping me out like on the tutorial section, and I would, I'd give him feedback on his Scapegoat and stuff. So
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun. The publishers don't seem to mind, like, as long as the game's better.
Right. Yeah, one thing you didn't mention about the mechanics was that you also have a bomb that you can use by sacrificing a ship. Anything you want to add about that?
Okay, sorry. So let's get back to mechanics. So, like you can see right now, there's a giant. We'll do the giant shot first. The plasma. It's called the plasma auger. So
Okay.
that's the risk and reward mechanic in the game. So if you spread your ships out, it's real easy to do with the triggers. You can contract them or expand them. And so if you spread them out, you get this giant beam that's very powerful. But if you contract them, it's easier to dodge, but you're not as powerful. So that's the balance a lot of the times is like,
Oh, cool.
Do you want to have the giant beam or not? And the beam actually is proportionate to how spread out you are. You can make it really big.
Yeah, Johnny Boy in the chat said it's really fun to massage the formation to get a bullet spread that he likes for each situation.
Yeah, like he's doing right there. He's kind of pulled him in, and you can push up against the screens and then get a better shot. So that's the one
cool.
power up you got in the game is called Ghost. And that mirrors your controls, and that makes you crazy powerful. It doesn't happen too often, but yeah, it's and what's fun is the ghosts obviously are invincible, so you can smash them into all kinds of things, as long as the mirror side is not getting killed. That's the ghost, and then the bomb, like you were saying, Aquas. The bomb is what happens is when one of your ships dies, a localized bomb goes off. And everyone around that ship, not all your ships, but everyone around the ships are invincible for a moment. So it doesn't instantly set if you've really spread your ships apart, the ships on the far side away from the bomb still won't be invincible. So you can really screw yourself up if you just go plowing into a boss, all your ships. So you can't. Like if I tried it, you know what I mean? Like early on, I just made everyone invincible, and it was just too easy. You were just, you know what I mean? You didn't care. So this still has the effect that if you have your ships pretty spread out and you go smash into a boss, you end up delivering a whole bunch of bombs, which is cool, but you lose a bunch of ships. So you kind of consider how you're playing. And I like the self-balancing because like right now the guy's got 21 ships, right? So you start to play a little more crazy. And you just end up losing them. Like you know what I mean? Unless you're like really careful, you start playing like a dummy, and you kind of lose your own ships. There's actually several secrets in the game too.
Oh.
So because you can choose at different points in the levels what direction to go, there is branching. So it's not like Darius, but there is branching, and there's secrets on the branches. So there's in Mommy's Best Games an MDG pie, and those will be hidden. And if you get them, if you don't instantly grab them but you shoot them, they spawn 1-ups.
Ooh.
So if you can get to those and find those and milk them, you can get to 30 ships.
Like really quickly.
Is that the true shoot one up moment?
Yes. Like when you get to 30 ships and you're playing 2-player co-op and somebody gets a ghost, you can get 90 ships on the screen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really nuts. And the game's co-op on the XBL, so it's pretty cool. And
nice. It's always good.
Yeah, it's 2-player. It's not 2-player drop in, drop out co-op. Like it says, join now right now.
Oh wow, just drop in. That's really good.
Yeah, you don't have to mess with, it's not crazy or anything, and it's not super strict that way. Again, because it's kind of sloppy, kind of casual, but it's fun that way. and yeah, playing with each other. So what happens is, in the 2-player, if one of you, again, to cater towards like helping another player play with you, you can be really good and still have a casual play with you, and it won't be awful, because what'll happen is, sure, maybe they die, right, and so they're dead, and all their ships are gone. As long as the good player still has ships, you get this mini game that happens, and it's really kind of mean, but it's fun. The second player gets a cursor, and they move it around the screen freely. And as soon as they press their button, their A button, they grab whatever of your ships are under the cursor.
Oh.
So it's kind of mean. Like you are suddenly now like their enemy, and you're like trying to, but you can help them, right? You can just give them some ships. If you're playing totally nice, you can give them some ships. But if you're like trolling each other, you can stay away from them. And so what happens is, as soon as they press the button and actually grab one of your ships, the timer starts, and they have a little bit more time to start grabbing as many ships of yours as they can. And so you can agree to play a certain way and like just give each other half the ships, or you can be mean about it and run around all crazy. And so you can kind of chain and milk the game like 2-player wise to get through it. You know, if somebody's bad, like you can barely hang on by the skin of your teeth. By barely, somebody grabs up, oh no, I died, and maybe the main player only has 2 ships left, and the other guy with the cursor, he can actually steal both of his ships and kick him out, and now he's the main player. You know what I mean? But hopefully he doesn't die, and so he can go back and forth.
That's like the most fully fledged like live sharing mechanic I've ever heard of. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, I worked a while on it because I wanted to make sure it was robust, and people actually enjoyed it, and yeah, so it's pretty in depth, and it's like I said, it's like a trolling mini game, so it's pretty fun.
I know I love when I played the new Super Mario World games in the Wii. I'm always the guy who throws your buddies off of the ledge.
Oh, I hate you. You're the worst guy to play with. Oh.
Yeah, I'm that guy because I just want to see my friends get pissed because of something I do in a video game. It's just something It's just something I love.
Oh, guys, don't play Mario. Well, play Mario Brothers without those.
Don't
play Mario.
Now, if you ever play this game with me, I'll be making sure it's hard for you to play.
Yeah.
Cool. I think like Twinkle Star Sprite style, I'd want to do. Maybe I'll do something in the future. Or somebody will do something in the future where it's a shoot 'em up that's mainly about trolling, like second player. Instead of like, what if it's like this, and that's the main mechanic is, you know what I mean? And instead of just Twinkle Star Sprites where you're dumping on each other, you're actually in the level with each other, and you're almost like half fighting, and you know what I mean? Like you can just do a whole bunch of awful things to each other and still play.
Sounds like you have some ideas for more co-op experiences.
Ooh, we need more co-op, or maybe that doesn't sound like co-op play.
Maybe more like bro-op.
Yeah, bro-op.
I don't know why I thought of that.
Cooperative.
Yeah.
So do we want to entertain questions from the chat before we go into some of this developer interview questions?
We did have a few questions.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Go for
okay.
it.
Let's go handle them right now.
Yeah, one of them was, is this gal shell? We addressed that. It's not.
Yes. We got Jamers that said, is this gal shell? We
It's
also
not
had
gal
another question about when is this coming to PC? Or if this is coming to PC.
That's a good idea. Let's do that. So what we're doing is we're working on another big game right now. But I would definitely, basically what I'm considering doing is bringing the Mommy's Best Game pack to Steam.
Oh, awesome.
Ooh.
So we would need, you heard it here first. I haven't really actually.
Oh, shit.
Whoa! STG Weekly exclusive here.
It's true, it's true.
man.
This has been the secret I've been kind of considering is, I don't know, we haven't done a gear, we've gone through publishers for Steam, like with Serious Hand, but we haven't done Greenlight yet. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll do like the Mommy's Best Games XBLIG Super Pack, and it'll be, all our XBLIG games in one kind of download. And I don't know, just hopefully it's worth, people's attention and they go for that. Like it'd be weapon of choice, everything cleaned up with achievements and all that business, and on Steam.
That'd be an awesome package, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, like we would do the same. Like Shoot1UP would be on PC and co-op. But most of the games, and the problem is most of the games work best with a controller. So we'd make them work with the mouse and a keyboard, or at least a keyboard or something like that. We wouldn't want to screw it up. We'd want to do a good job. So that's why it's not like an automatic, easy kind of thing. Is the game does work right? Shoot1UP works right now on the PC, and it's fun. But I'm not going to release it because I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like people don't. Not everybody has a controller, so you got to do a good job with that.
Oh, that's thoughtful about you.
Well,
that's really thoughtful.
I don't know. I'd like to release it sooner, but anyway, at some point, yeah, I would like. Somebody got a hamburger? Are you opening a hamburger? Can I have it?
Yeah, I'm getting a bag of chips, cheddar and sour cream.
Here, here's the buy page for Xbox 360. There's. Oh nope, that's the wrong link. I'm an idiot. Let's see here. Let me put it in there. Hang on. Blah 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 blah.
I keep on wanting to make puns of just Mommy's Best, like links, Mommy's Best announcements.
Yeah. That's what the name of the company came from. Was that we always said our moms do the best, like our moms make the best cookies. And I was like, our moms would make the best games. So when we were really young, that's what. So yeah, I mean I'm older now, but that was pulling from our friend's childhood. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, it's silly. So let's see. Was there any other? Challenge. Gal shell, nipples. Yeah. Okay. There.
Oh yeah, here's one. Can you do a one-ship challenge run in the game?
That's fascinating. So, well, you start the game with 3 ships. So what do they mean? Like,
I guess,
like a never die, or?
Maybe intentionally go to one ship, or just play at 3 ships. I guess it would go to that.
Oh, so just don't get any shoot 'em up. Don't get any one.
Yeah, sure.
Can you do it? I'm sure it's possible.
Well, Jamers is about to take that challenge on.
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible. I don't know. I've never done it, but that would be a tough one. The other one is, yeah, you get like in-game achievements from getting 30 ships, but yeah, I've never seen that. Let's see here.
Okay.
Johnny Boy 117. Steam to Wii U. I'd have to sort out. I don't even know how to get stuff working on the Wii U yet, and I don't have a kit for it. I got a PS4 kit, and but I don't have a Wii U, so I don't know about that, man. Maybe someday. I like Nintendo. They've been a little. All their tech is a little different from what I'm used to doing, so someday maybe.
Awesome.
We're actually.
Go ahead.
I'm working on a side project on iPad on Unity, and it's an educational game. It's not. There's no boobs in it or anything. But it's so I'm learning Unity through that. So maybe if we, you know what I mean, like a future project, if a future project we're in Unity, and I think that ports to Wii U. So. And
Unity was another distribution service, right?
Unity is a development platform.
Oh, okay.
It's a game-making tool. So it's a game-making tool, and you can decide to port to different, like iOS, PC, Android, Xbone, whatever you want. So it's a game building tool, but I think that's one that definitely works on Wii U. Yeah.
I'm thinking of that distribution service, Origin. That's what Origin.
Oh, that's EA. Yeah, Origin's EA thing. Yeah. I mean. But.
Cool. Let's move on to the interview. Frenetic, you wanna let's conduct it.
So, Nathan, I'm going to ask you questions from. This is taken from Black Oak Shmuplations. Have you heard of his website? Well, if you go to shmuplations.com, he's translated various Japanese interviews.
Oh, I think I've been there before and didn't realize what you know what I mean, like what it was called. I think I read an interview from the Shmup forums before. That's cool.
Yeah. So he translated these interview questions from 1985, where they asked 12 developers 20 questions. We're going to ask you some of them. and this is from the October 1985 edition of Beat magazine. So
Okay.
So you're gonna be in STG Weekly magazine. Basically.
yeah.
For 2014. Anyway, go ahead.
So the first question from this group of questions is, what are you most scared of?
What am I most scared of?
Yes. What are you most scared
Oblivion?
of? Oh.
Like nothingness?
And what kind of oblivion, to be specific?
Well, like the idea that when I die, instead of going to heaven or hell or anything, it's just there's no or transcendentalism or you know, I go to another kind of state. Actually, what I'm most scared of is if I die, when I change. If you changed and you weren't yourself, like you transcended to another being, but you had no understanding of your past self, then that's pretty awful. But maybe it's great. I don't know. But it just seems like you lose your identity, or if everything just comes to a complete end and there's nothingness afterwards. I think that sounds pretty awful. So I'd almost prefer hell over that. I'd almost prefer hell over that. I don't know, but maybe that's not hell. You know what I mean?
I don't mean to get too philosophical, but kind of shmups are kind of like, it's always like a remembering of your own identity or skills, like in the game, and that's what I like about shmups is because like when you go back and play it, or if you've been playing it for quite some time and very regularly, you have your own identity and your skill kind of comes up. You know, you see your score or how far you've gone in a stage, and that's a really satisfying thing to kind of locate yourself within the game, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, since I've got like Shoot1UP and it's got all these ships, my first has this happened in a game yet? Like, where what if? Okay, this reminds me of Space Super Mega. No, Space Time Force, Super Time Force. Okay, so imagine a shoot 'em up, and like you just said, Frenetic, you play, and then the next time you play, your ghost, like a racing game, your ghost player is there.
Oh.
And you can just run like with a ghost. I don't know. Like, do they have like ghost plays?
I have never seen that mechanic before, like a ghost.
Yeah.
That would be kind of interesting. Hey, more ideas for Mommy's Best Games for the next.
I don't know. That could be cool.
Anyway. Could be good because I'm just thinking like maybe in some of the like very route-based games where it's like you got to keep a chain going. Like you could see your ghost like maybe a little bit better on the route or worse on the route, and you could compare. I don't know. It seems like a decent idea. Maybe worth investigating.
There's a little bit of in Gradius 5 where like you go back in time and you get to see.
Right. That was, yeah, I remember that.
And that's so neat. That could be like kind of a cool game. Yeah. But it's mostly cinematic. Like.
Right, true, yeah.
Okay, so we've got with that scared question away.
Well, yeah, since we'll have 30 lives, though, hopefully we won't go to oblivion quickly.
Oblivion. Okay.
We'll come back to this life with big mechanical boobs in our face. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
The next question is, what is the ultimate food?
What is the ultimate food?
Yeah, what is the ultimate food to Nathan?
Did you say food or boob?
Food.
Because you were just talking about boobs or food. I can't remember which. Can I answer boob? No, I'm sorry. That's that's like a baby question. Let's see. I don't know. Donuts? I'm pretty sure.
Donuts.
It's the ultimate food. Yeah.
Nice. What kind of? Do you like? What kind of donut?
I mean, a Boston cream donut is the ultimate donut. So, yeah.
You heard it here, Boston cream donut.
Yeah, there's a passage in the Bible about it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh shit.
That's great. Okay, Boston.
That's why I adhere to it. So yeah, it's a religious thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Next question. Getting on to the next. Do you have a reoccurring dream?
Do I have a reoccurring dream?
Yes.
I'm on an open plain, and there's Egyptian pyramids and sphinxes, and they're sort of like broken. The heads are broken off, and underneath them are like robot heads.
Whoa.
And like these sort of blobby slugs are crawling down the pyramid walls.
Ooh.
So I don't know, and I kind of like walking around there. I assume it's some sort of connection to, you know, the aliens that made the pyramids, and that's why I'm getting that vibe from the universe. I don't know.
Wow, that's crazy. So are you do you walk around, or do you like, hey, I want to go say hello to the Sphinx, or do you, like...
I always want to get to the slugs, but I just sort of, I'm pretty far off from them, and the pyramids are massive. Like the things are just huge, and I think I'm kind of floating usually. So I don't know if I'm disconnected or what, if it's like astral projection kind of stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often, but I've had it before.
Whoa, that's crazy. So in a maybe post-Egyptian or pre-Egyptian landscape,
yeah,
robot faces, slugs.
Sounds like a good background for shmup or something.
Yeah, I should just pull that into a game sometime if I keep thinking about it. Yeah, maybe that's it.
I can imagine that. Just a little pyramid with like a little pharaoh head coming out, a mechanical pharaoh head.
You're right, yeah, exactly. I think Thunder Force 2 had like the Egyptian level. I'm probably just dreaming about that or something. But
who knows? Interesting. If you hadn't been a game designer, what would you have been? Or if you are, wear different hats. Maybe talked about different hats to.
Right. I think at one point I was gonna just like work at a gas station.
Oh.
Pump gas, because it seemed like it would give you a lot of time to think. But then maybe I'll also just be a carpenter, because I like to work in wood, so I like to make things. Yeah.
That is really cool.
Thanks. Yeah.
Oh, working
like carpentry.
Are you a person who loves eating?
Is this the do I live to eat or eat to live question?
Yeah, I guess you could read it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I'm in the moment, I love eating. Yeah, so I'm totally down for that. I definitely, you can't beat that umami flavor.
Mommy's best games.
Umami.
It all goes back to that banana bread. Or the pie, I guess, in the icon.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, yeah, we got food in our icon, so I definitely, I love food.
Yeah.
If donuts aren't my favorite food, then it's got to be pie. So I guess that makes more sense. But
I am a pie man myself too.
Yeah. We like to say it's high time for pie time. So.
Ooh, I'm gonna use that.
Like, you know, I bake pies pretty often. So, you know, when the pie comes out of the oven, it's high time for pie time. You know, and we just devour it. So it's hot though. Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
Okay, so the next question is, what is the thing you want most in the world now?
What I want most in the world now, like I would, some iced tea would be really good.
Iced tea.
Past that, clearly I want my next game to not bomb. So, you know, I want it to do really well. So, and then past that, like in a real sense, maybe everyone gets hit by the point of view gun from Hitchhiker's Guide, and we stop fighting a little bit. So
I like that. I like that.
Nice.
What was the first game you ever played, or maybe what was the first game that made like a serious impact on you? That could be another.
Sure, let's do that. I mean, the first game I ever played, I think it was what was it, Combat on the Atari? Yeah, I mean, I was like, 5 or something, or 4, something like that. The first game that I was nuts for was R-Type on the Sega Master System.
Oh.
I learned that game inside and out, and the Sega Master System has a secret level that they made exclusively for it. So it was pretty, and it's a cool level too. It's not just a throwaway crap level. It's pretty great. So I loved R-Type. I still love R-Type. It's great. So yeah, R-Type on the Sega Master System is probably one of my favorite very early games. Before that, it was like Berserk. So there's another shoot on the Atari. So let me tell you this. I'll tell you a quick story. This was at the babysitter's house, and I was younger, and the older brother of the boy, you know, we were friends. Everybody was friends there, but of the woman that owned the house, her son was older, and he was like in high school, and so obviously he could play the Atari the best. Or so they thought, because then I got a hold of it, and I was much younger than him, and I beat his high score in Berserk. When he was away at school, and I was really young, and he was really mad about it.
Yeah. So he went Berserk because you beat his Berserk score.
Yeah, exactly. He went Berserk. So he ended up eventually.
Back then, doing that was a big deal, I think. Back then, beating someone's score was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
High school, you know, you think like a year older or someone that's 2 years older when you're that age, like they have just a world of experience, but to beat someone in high school, that must have been...
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt him, so, you know, felt pretty good. But anyway, yeah, Berserk was an early shoot 'em up for me, so.
The Berserk, I think I know that game. That kind of plays, like, you can shoot in all directions, right?
Yeah, more or less what
dudes like spawn like randomly and you just shoot them.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Robotron 2084. Right. So I love Robotron 2084 too in the arcade. So
people have an idea of Berserk. I know I've seen someone play that not too long ago. There's one guy on Twitch who streams Atari stuff.
Nice.
And that's a very good port, I must add. So, okay. So next question is, what do you hate most about computers?
Everything. Let's see. No, what do I hate most about them? That's an interesting question. I guess it's like the fact that you have to relay data to them through clunky interfaces. So, like keyboards and mice. Maybe we want the neural jack kind of treatment.
Ooh, yeah. So what do you love best about computers?
I don't know. They're clearly like a marvel of human achievement. That they work off of. I mean, they're digital, but just the fact that anything works with them is unbelievable. Like when you learn about the idea of the bits, the ones and zeros in some systems actually are analog.
Okay.
And so even though they eventually will end up mostly 1 or mostly 0, they're a little bit off. And the fact that we can build a system out of that seems perfectly digital is really impressive. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Is there any game designer today who you've got your eye on?
Well, sure. I mean, like, well, I'll tell you what. A good buddy of mine, and one I really like, is Ian Stalker. He makes the Scapegoat series. That's a really good one. But like, even beyond Ian or me, I think Terry Cavanagh is brilliant from what I've seen. Super Hexagon and VVV and those games. He does an amazing job of expanding on a single gameplay concept. So yeah, Terry Cavanagh is great.
Cool. Do you have a favorite, let's say, comic book or manga artist, or maybe an artist just in general?
Sure. I mean, I like a lot of art. If I was going to think of comic books, I'm looking at my collection. Who did that retread of the Monkey King a while back? He's Japanese.
Monkey King.
Let me look. No. Okay, here it is. Let's see here. Katsuya Terada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Katsuya Terada. That Monkey King is gorgeous art. So good. And then I mean, I'm a big fan of, the classic Renaissance period painters and like Raphael and I think Caravaggio is one of my favorite classic painters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he has a very kind of soft.
Caravaggio. Well, he's big on the deep shadows, so he makes like really kind of pretty dark shadows. Is going from lights to darks. So yeah, I like him a lot.
That's true. You know who's also like that is like Zerberon. He's a
Oh, cool.
he's a really good lot of night scenes.
That sounds neat.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one is, do you feel a special pride for any of the games you created, or is there? Can you talk more about some of the games that you made, and maybe what was a special point of pride for some of them?
Well, they're all my babies.
Yes.
Oh, but just anytime anyone comes up to me like at a convention and shares a good moment they had with one of our games, like seem to enrich their life, that's always excellent. When they're just really happy and they just say, "Oh, I had such a fun time. You know, thanks for making that."
Oh.
Yeah, anytime that happens, it's great. It feels good. So, yeah, nice.
What qualities do you think are necessary to be a game designer?
Organization, inspiration. Yeah, I mean, like game designer is tricky just in terms of how technical you get about it, because you definitely got to be really organized to see a game through to completion. They're a lot of work. So yeah, organization is and like steadfastness. Those are tough.
How do you keep organized? Do you keep like a file directory system on your computer, or do you write down like in a notebook? Like, can you speak more to that organization skills?
So I keep two different types of to-do documents.
Okay.
Or, like 2 different types of documents per game when it's actively in the works. And I also keep a physical folder for every game where I store all my paper files for like drawings and notes and on paper. And so like one file I keep is my to-do list. And so that's organized in like, you know what I mean? Like bugs to fix, levels to make, art to do, that kind of thing. And then the other file is a log. So in the log, I keep a detail on how I fixed bugs or what I've been working on and what's been going right. And
so is like your to-do list like on the computer, and then the done list is like your paper log? Or?
Well, both of these are on the computer, and the log I use in case what'll typically happen is, like I'll fix a bug and then 6 months down the road, somehow the bug will reappear or something else will go wrong with it. So I'll dig back into my file on the computer, that log, and like check to see how did I really fix it if I forgot.
Oh, that's really cool. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and
I think this can go for a strategy that could go for a lot of things.
It works pretty good. The other thing, you were talking about the question about special point of pride.
Yes,
so, I've tended to come up with a unique concept for a lot of the games, so I guess I feel pretty good about that. So if you look at Weapon of Choice, we came up with the idea of death brushing. And so in Weapon of Choice, that's like it's a riff on bullet time. So from the Matrix games and the Matrix movies. So but the trick is, death brushing is you get bullet time automatically right before you die. So that's the definition of death brushing is you're about to die, and then the game just gives you bullet time to get out of the way. So I felt really good about that, because that's been put in other games. So the fact that like my gameplay concept went into other people's games is really cool. So that's in Vanquish, that's in the Pac-Man Championship. I think like one of those, CE, one of those used death brushing. So and the only problem is, if you go on the Giant Bomb page and look up death brushing, for some insane reason, and I don't think it's in the game, and if somebody knows better and can fix the page or something like that, or research it, somebody put Hitman Blood Money as having death brushing. Fairly confident it does not.
Okay.
And the reason it pisses me off is because they say it predates Weapon of Choice, and so I just don't think it's in the game. But I've got a copy of it, and I've been looking at it, and I just haven't found it. So and I'm not going to edit my own. You know what I mean? I'm not going to edit Giant Bomb, because that's like weird. So if there's somebody else that can figure that out, that would be amazing to have that sort of. Because just for posterity. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I don't like that. I don't like that it's not true. And if it is true, then fine. But anyway.
Come on, guys, set that record straight.
It's true. Right.
So
Anyway, yeah.
we'll get to the last questions. Is, do you play games outside of work?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'd like to play them more, but
any games that you
question-
can bring up now that you
This question may have been more relevant in 1985 or whatever.
Yeah.
right. Let's see here. I'll put that there. So, games I'm playing outside of work. I just got the new Killer is Dead. I got like that nice collection. I like those games. Are pretty cool. They're a little clunky, but they're neat. You know what I mean? They're pretty. And then I was playing Shadow of the Damned.
Ooh.
A little bit. Like it's. I like how over the top it is. It's really ridiculous, and the gun that changes, and the motorcycle and stuff like that. It's neat. And the other game I was playing more recently was Sonic and the All-Stars Racing Transformed on the Xbox.
Nice.
Oh.
I picked that one up recently. It's pretty cool.
It's fun, but the levels, I'm in like the third main world. You know what I mean? Like the third set of tracks.
Yeah.
And at this point, the levels last forever. Kind of turning me off a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to finish that game. I liked it a lot, but the first world and the second world are definitely more fun. And I love revisiting the old Sega games. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, like you were talking about the Sega Master version of R-Type, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, and then like shoot 'em up wise, when I heard that Cave was stopping to publish Xbox 360 games, I've been going about buying all their ports for the Xbox, 360 just to have them. And so, what was it, Dodon Patchy Maximum?
Oh, okay.
I've
Is
been
that
playing
the
that.
iOS game, or?
No, like on the Xbox, there's a port. I can't shoot.
That should be like Daifukatsu or Resurrection or
Resurrection.
Saibai
Sorry, Resurrection. You're right, Resurrection. So I've got the other ones too, but I like Resurrection just because it's just so I don't know, physical. Like was it Daifukatsu or no? What was the one, Saidu Daijo?
That's the newest one. The newest.
Okay, I like that one too, but it's so silly and like, you know what I mean, like and crazy. So it's kind of fun to come back to Resurrection where everything's really gritty and tough. So
I see.
like
I
that
see.
one. I've been playing that one some.
Cool. Well, can we take any questions from the chat? Do you guys have any questions for Nathan? Please feel free to type those in.
Yep, last chance for that. But I think we'll probably be wrapping it up shortly here.
Well, I'll tell you real quick. We're working on our next game. It's called Pig Eat Ball. It's not a shoot 'em up. It's a very strange game. Imagine Pac-Man.
Okay.
Imagine Pac-Man's going through a maze. Miss Pac-Man, because you play Princess Bo in the game. Imagine you're Miss Pac-Man and you're going through the level eating the pellets, but as you eat them, you get fatter and fatter and fatter. So you get stuck in the maze, and now you have to vomit to get out of the maze.
Whoa!
So bar factor is a lot into the game. It's very strange. So Pig Eat Ball, you should look for it, and it'll be out. Like we're gonna greenlight it pretty soon, so we'll need help for that.
Okay,
So,
guys, you heard it here.
Yeah,
Keep
keep it
all
back.
Mommy's Best Games needs some help, so
Yeah.
hopefully you can help that when we get green light.
Wow, this game has some serious quirk. I'm liking
You're
it.
looking at Pig Eat Ball? Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the GIFs and whatnot.
Yeah, the GIFs in there so that people can quickly just understand, what the concept is. So, all right, so let me look here. Will there be a Shoot1UP? I would love to make a Shoot1UP. Yes, at some point I hope to make one.
Oh, cool.
I got some cool ideas for expanding it and making it more insane.
Ooh.
So, yeah. I have no idea when that will be, but yeah. When you go back to old bug notes, do you feel your younger self was dumber or smarter? There's like that, that song by Stone Temple Pilots where he says, I'm half the man I used to be. I kind of feel like that sometimes. Like I'll look back at my old notes and I think, man, I solved that old problem a lot better than I thought than my, you know what I mean, than my current version of the way I'm trying to fix that now. So I might feel a little dumber when I look back at my younger, maybe because you know what I mean, I took it more seriously the first time. So you kind of get sloppy sometimes the more you encounter problems. Yeah.
But you're smart because you kept a log too, so yeah. That's Brooks Bishop, who we highlighted for a tournament game, so.
Do I plan to do an update for XBLIG? No, sorry. I wish I did, but the system to get through to publish to XBLIG is dying and it's practically dead, so I don't know if I'm going to do that. Yeah, sorry guys. So we'll do an updated version to Steam though if we end up doing that Steam version of Shoot1UP.
Oh, there you go.
Cool.
Excellent. All right. It's fun times.
Yeah, I think this was a great episode talking with you, and yeah, I think you may have answered the interview questions the best out of so far. So
yes,
congrats.
Oh, challenge to future people. Give it. Throw down the gauntlet.
Fernec's been mixing it up though nicely. He's been picking and choosing questions.
Oh, very good. Very good.
But it's been good.
Your show is organized. I don't like doing podcasts that are super slow and boring. This is a good show. So thanks for having me on.
Oh, well, thank you for those compliments.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully have you back again, maybe in another iteration of another Schmo.
Hey, that'd be cool. I love it.
Yeah, and I'll definitely throw up any of your relevant links to other games and stuff in the YouTube description. So if you just want to get me all those bundled up, I'll get those in there. And
cool.
Yeah, Shoot1UP is awesome, right?
Yeah.
Thanks,
guys.
Awesome.
And I think people liked it too. If they hadn't seen it before, you know, of course it is 3 years old. So, but yeah, thanks a lot. I think we'll wrap it up. This has been third episode for the Indie Month, and next week, I believe it's gonna be. Okay, I'm not gonna say if I'm not sure, but we're gonna have some more devs for the month. Anyway, you were a great guest.
Awesome. My pleasure,
Nathan,
guys.
So
thanks again for coming on the show, Nathan. Mommy's Best Games. Yeah.
Pie for life. All right.
Look at that pie. There's a pie.
So till next time, thanks for watching.
It's high time for pie time.
Later, guys.